For months, the internet has been buzzing with questions and wild rumors about why Barron Trump was supposedly rejected by Harvard. Now, Barron is finally breaking his silence to reveal the truth behind those claims. What really happened? Was it about more than just grades? Get ready to hear the story that no one expected. This could change everything you thought you knew. Barron Trump's educational journey has always drawn public attention, not only because of who his parents are but also because of the unique challenges he has faced growing up under the spotlight. Born on March 20, 2006, Barron is the youngest child of former U.S. President Donald Trump and First Lady Melania Trump. From an early age, Barron's life was far from ordinary. Unlike most children, his schooling and personal growth unfolded amidst constant media attention and intense public scrutiny. Barron's education began in New York City, where he attended Columbia Grammar and Preparatory School. This prestigious school is known for its rigorous academics and strong emphasis on developing well-rounded students. For Barron, attending such a school meant balancing the usual pressures of academics with the extraordinary challenges that came from being a president's son. His classmates often noticed his quiet demeanor, but many recognized a sharp intelligence and curiosity in him. Teachers and students alike described Barron as polite and focused, someone who took his studies seriously despite the distractions around him. When his family relocated to Florida after Donald Trump's presidency, Barron's educational path shifted to Oxbridge Academy in West Palm Beach. It was here that Barron completed his high school education, graduating in May 2024. Oxbridge Academy is known for its strong college preparatory program, encouraging students to explore diverse interests and prepare for the future with a broad academic foundation. Barron's time at Oxbridge was marked by his growing interest in business and technology, fields that naturally align with his family background and personal talents. Those close to Barron describe him as someone with a thoughtful approach to learning. His teachers often praised his analytical skills and his ability to understand complex concepts, especially in subjects related to math and science. Despite the fame surrounding his family, Barron tried to maintain a sense of normalcy in his school life. However, the reality was that he was never just a student. Secret Service agents often accompanied him throughout the school day, creating a bubble of security that also contributed to a feeling of isolation. Barron's fluency in Slovene is another interesting aspect of his background. This linguistic skill comes from his mother, Melania, who was born in Slovenia and has maintained a strong connection to her heritage. Barron learned the language at home, which not only connected him to his mother's roots but also gave him a unique cultural perspective among his peers. This ability to speak Slovene fluently is seen by some as a sign of his open-mindedness and willingness to embrace a global outlook, qualities that could serve him well in his future endeavors. One of the defining features of Barron's academic interests is his passion for business and technology. These fields are often described as his strong suits, and they also reflect the environment in which he was raised. Donald Trump, a businessman and former president, has publicly expressed pride in Barron's intelligence and drive. In interviews, Donald Trump referred to Barron as a very smart guy, highlighting his son's capabilities in technology and his natural curiosity. Friends and family members have echoed similar sentiments, often noting Barron's enthusiasm for learning about new tech developments and entrepreneurial ideas. Despite all these academic achievements and interests, Barron's education has not been without its challenges. Growing up in a family that has been at the center of political controversies means that every decision Barron makes is watched and analyzed by the media and the public. The pressure to live up to expectations while carving out his own identity is something he has had to navigate carefully. Classmates and teachers describe him as someone who quietly works hard, avoiding unnecessary attention, but whose potential is clear to those around him. An interview with one of Barron's former teachers revealed some of the unique challenges he faced. The teacher said, Barron was always very focused and serious about his studies. But it was obvious he had to balance school with a level of security and privacy that most kids don't have to think about. It's not easy to be a teenager when you're constantly in the public eye. This insight helps explain how Barron managed to succeed academically despite the unusual pressures of his upbringing. Friends who have known Barron since his early school days speak of him as grounded and humble, which is not always what the public expects from a presidential child. One longtime friend said, Barron never acted like he was above anyone else. He was just a normal kid who liked video games, technology, and talking about business ideas. But of course, he was always aware of his family's situation, and that made some things complicated. Then came the moment when Barron had to make. One close friend shared, he's not just riding on his family name. Barron really wants to learn and build his own career. He's down to earth and always asking questions about the real world, not just the spotlight. Despite his famous background, Barron's peers say he tries to keep a low profile and live as normally as possible within the limits of his security detail. Barron's decision to step away from tradition highlights the pressures faced by children of prominent families. The expectations are immense, and choosing a path that feels authentic can be difficult. An education expert who studies high-profile family dynamics explained, children of famous figures often struggle with wanting to prove themselves outside of their family's influence. Choosing a college that is less about prestige and more about personal fit can be a way to assert independence and find their own voice. Though Barron's decision was met with surprise, it also opened conversations about what success and education mean today. For a young man raised partly in the public eye, attending a school like NYU may offer a balance between quality education and a more relatable college experience. It is a place where Barron can focus on his interests without the intense Ivy League spotlight. Barron's choice of college sparked a heated debate across America, and you won't believe how far and wide the discussions have spread. The Harvard rejection rumor. When Barron Trump made his college choice public, it was expected to spark conversation, but few anticipated the wildfire of rumors that followed. One of the most persistent and widespread stories claimed that Barron had applied to Harvard University and was rejected. This rumor spread rapidly across social media platforms, fueling heated debates and speculation about the real reasons behind his college decision. The story began quietly, with whispers on forums and Twitter threads, but quickly grew louder as more people chimed in. Many questioned why the youngest son of a former U.S. president would choose New York University's Stern School of Business over Harvard, an institution widely seen as the pinnacle of academic prestige. The timing was curious, too, since President Trump had recently escalated his criticisms of Harvard, accusing the university of bias and unfair practices. This led to a surge of theories suggesting that Barron's supposed rejection was not just about academics but tied to deeper political grievances. Social media was flooded with memes, speculation, and opinion pieces debating the fairness of elite college admissions. Commentators and fans of both Barron and Trump weighed in, some defending Barron's choice as an independent decision, while others insisted that the rejection must have hurt the family's pride. The rumor became so pervasive that it overshadowed many genuine discussions about Barron's academic strengths and interests in business and technology. One expert on college admissions, Dr. Lisa Andrews, a former admissions officer at an Ivy League school, shared her insights. Legacy applicants often have advantages in the admissions process, especially at prestigious universities like Harvard. But even with those advantages, admission is never guaranteed. If Barron did apply, rejection could simply reflect Harvard's highly competitive nature. She added, "It's important to remember that the decision to attend a particular college often involves many personal factors beyond just acceptance or rejection." At the same time, political analysts noted how the rumor fit into a larger narrative of tension between the Trump family and elite educational institutions. Michael Reynolds, a political commentator, explained, President Trump's recent attacks on Harvard, including his demands for the university to follow his directives regarding funding and international students, might be driven in part by personal frustration. Whether or not Barron was rejected, the timing of these criticisms suggests a connection. Despite the swirling rumors, Barron himself appeared unaffected in public settings. He kept a low profile and was seen attending classes and campus events with a quiet determination. His choice of NYU's Stern School of Business reflected his clear interest in business and technology, areas where he hopes to build his future. Insiders say that Barron wanted to carve his own path, distinct from the high-pressure expectations often placed on children of famous families. Still, the Harvard rejection story had lasting effects. It highlighted how the children of public figures face intense scrutiny and how their personal choices quickly become national news. It also brought to light questions about fairness in college admissions, whether wealth and legacy influence decisions more than merit. This debate gained renewed energy as advocates called for greater transparency in university admission policies. The rumor also triggered conversations about mental health and pressure on young adults in the spotlight. Dr. Karen Mitchell, a psychologist specializing in adolescent development, commented, "When a young person is publicly associated with high-profile figures, any perceived setbacks can be magnified. The added pressure from social media and public speculation can impact their emotional well-being." As discussions continued, many urged the public to respect Barron's privacy and support his individual journey. In interviews, former educators who knew Barron praised his intelligence and dedication. "He's a bright student with real potential," said one teacher from Oxbridge. The family wants to ensure that the focus remains on his achievements and aspirations, not on baseless gossip. Inside the Trump household, Barron was reportedly relieved by the family's decision to address the rumors. Friends who have known him since childhood describe him as a focused and determined young man. One close family friend shared, "Barron is just trying to live a normal life despite the spotlight. He's passionate about business and technology, and that's where his focus is." The official denial did bring some calm to the chaotic media environment, but it also sparked a wider conversation about privacy and public scrutiny faced by children of prominent figures. Barron, like many children of celebrities and politicians, has had to navigate life in the public eye from an early age. His educational journey, which should be personal and private, became a public spectacle. These rumors and speculations carry political connections and a deeper background, something tied more to Trump himself than to Barron. The swirling rumors about Barron Trump's college admissions didn't arise in a vacuum. Behind the scenes was a complex political backdrop involving his father, former President Donald Trump, and his ongoing battle with elite universities, especially Harvard. Understanding this political tension is key to seeing why the public and media quickly linked Barron's admission rumors to much larger national debates. During the same period these rumors spread, Donald Trump took bold actions targeting Harvard and other prestigious institutions. He imposed a freeze on federal funding to Harvard and revoked the university's ability to enroll international students who relied on federal student visas. These moves shocked many, as Harvard had long been a symbol of academic excellence and opportunity for students worldwide, especially those coming from diverse backgrounds. The restrictions threatened not only Harvard's reputation but also its ability to attract top talent from around the globe. The root of this political conflict lies in the broader disagreements between the Trump administration and elite universities regarding diversity, equity, and inclusion (DEI) programs. Harvard, along with other Ivy League schools, has promoted DEI initiatives aimed at creating more inclusive environments for underrepresented students. President Trump and his allies, however, criticized these programs, arguing that they amounted to unfair advantages and were part of a woke agenda that undermined meritocracy. This clash was about more than just admissions. It touched on values, identity, and the future direction of American education. Former Harvard administrators, speaking on condition of anonymity, described a tense atmosphere on campus during this period. "There was a real sense of uncertainty," one said. "The funding freeze and visa restrictions hit us hard. We were scrambling to reassure students, especially international ones, who suddenly faced barriers to their education. The political conflict spilled over into our daily lives, and it affected morale." Meanwhile, some observers speculated that the timing of the rumors about Barron Trump's Harvard application was no coincidence. Social media and news outlets amplified the narrative just as Trump was escalating his political attacks on the university. Many questioned whether the rumors were part of a larger political tactic aimed at discrediting Harvard or at deflecting attention from Trump's own controversies. Political commentator Jason Reed noted, "The speculation around Barron's admissions mirrors the broader culture wars in America. It's less about the young man and more about the symbolic battleground Harvard represents. Whether the rumors are true or not, they serve to heighten tensions and rally political bases." Adding to the complexity, President Trump's freeze on federal funding was not just symbolic, it had practical consequences. Harvard relies heavily on government grants for research and scholarships. Cutting off this support threatened critical projects and endangered financial aid for students from lower-income families. The funding cut also sent a warning signal to other universities about the consequences of clashing with the administration. Several international students affected by the visa restrictions shared their experiences in interviews. Maria Chen, a graduate student from China, described the anxiety she felt when her visa renewal was suddenly put on hold. "It felt like I was being punished for something beyond my control. Harvard was my dream, but suddenly it felt like doors were closing," she said. Despite the pressures, Harvard's leadership publicly reaffirmed their commitment to their values. University President Lawrence Bacow released statements emphasizing the importance of diversity and inclusion as core principles of the institution. "We remain dedicated to fostering an environment where all students, regardless of background, can thrive," he stated. The political battle also sparked broader discussions on the role of government in higher education. Critics argued that cutting funds and restricting visas for political reasons undermined academic freedom and the independence of universities. Supporters of Trump's policies claimed they were necessary to hold institutions accountable and to promote fairness in admissions. Despite official denials, suspicion lingers because Trump's criticism of Harvard clearly isn't without reason. There's a deeper story behind his sharp attacks. The controversy sparked a heated political debate that reached far beyond Harvard's campus. At the heart of the issue was a question many. These conflicting views made the situation even more complicated. Media outlets covered the story extensively, often framing it as a clash between political power and academic freedom. Editorials questioned whether the administration's decisions were an abuse of power or a necessary step to enforce fairness in higher education. The debate also touched on deeper questions about how much influence wealthy and powerful families have in the college admissions process. Amid this turmoil, many wondered about the future of Harvard and other elite universities. Losing federal funding could mean cutting back on research projects, scholarships, and student support programs. It might also force universities to change their admission policies, potentially reducing opportunities for underrepresented groups. The ripple effects could extend far beyond Harvard's gates, influencing the landscape of American higher education for years to come. The public perception of the Trump administration's actions was also shaped by social media. Platforms like Twitter and Facebook buzzed with opinions, many of which linked Barron Trump's rumored rejection to the harsher policies against Harvard. Although officially denied, these rumors fed into a narrative of personal vendetta influencing public decisions. Some saw it as an example of how personal grievances can impact government actions, raising concerns about fairness and transparency in policymaking. Political analysts pointed out that this episode might be just one part of a larger pattern. Dr. Emily Grant, a political science professor, explained, "What we see here is not just about one family or one university. It's about how personal and political interests can sometimes intertwine, influencing policies that affect millions." She warned that if such patterns continued, they could undermine public trust in government institutions and higher education alike. Meanwhile, Harvard itself remained relatively quiet but focused on damage control. University officials expressed concern over the funding cuts and the restrictions on international students but also emphasized their commitment to maintaining high academic standards and supporting all students. A spokesperson said, "Harvard will continue to provide world-class education and research opportunities despite the challenges. We remain dedicated to fostering diversity, inclusion, and academic excellence." Let's go back to Barron Trump and discover what truly inspires his future ambitions. Barron Trump's future shines with a mix of ambition, curiosity, and the quiet determination of a young man carving out his own path. Currently enrolled at New York University, Barron is deeply invested in his business studies, focusing on building a foundation that will support his goals for years to come. Unlike many who may rely on their family name alone, Barron seems intent on blending his interests with real-world experience to create something uniquely his own. From a young age, Barron showed a natural talent for technology. His father, Donald Trump, has often spoken about Barron's abilities, calling him a very smart guy and praising his knack for computers. Those who have met Barron describe him as someone who is quiet but thoughtful, someone who likes to spend time learning new things rather than chasing the spotlight. His passion for gaming and technology goes beyond mere entertainment. It reflects a curiosity about how things work and how innovation can change the world. In interviews, family friends have shared how Barron's interests have always been focused on modern industries. He's fascinated by how technology shapes business and society, one close family friend said. He's not just playing games, he's studying them, understanding what makes them successful and what future trends might look like. At NYU, Barron has the chance to immerse himself in a dynamic environment filled with like-minded peers and cutting-edge resources. This exposure helps him explore his interests while preparing him for the challenges of the business world. The Leonard N. Stern School of Business offers a unique blend of rigorous academics and hands-on learning, which suits Barron's style perfectly. He is known to approach his studies with a level of seriousness that surprises some classmates, especially given his high-profile background. Despite the constant attention that comes with being the son of a former president, Barron has managed to stay grounded. He wants to be recognized for what he can do, not just who he is, shared a classmate. There's a real desire to prove himself and create a legacy based on his own work. But Barron's ambitions don't stop at the classroom. He has already dipped his toes into entrepreneurship by co-founding a real estate company. This move shows a clear intent to apply his business knowledge practically and to start building something tangible early in his career. Real estate, a field that demands strategic thinking and a deep understanding of market dynamics, aligns well with Barron's strengths and interests. In a recent interview, a close family associate highlighted Barron's entrepreneurial spirit. He's not waiting for opportunities to come to him. He's actively seeking ways to create opportunities and learn through experience. This mindset distinguishes Barron from many young adults who often hesitate to step outside their comfort zones. Looking ahead, Barron's future seems filled with possibilities. His dual passion for business and technology opens doors to various industries, from tech startups to gaming companies and beyond.